All right, guys, just like you can read here, hopefully, rent to own homes. I'm here with Giovanna Danino.
Hi, guys.
Giovanna. And she's going to break it down, guys. Rent to own is actually a thing. I know you've heard about it probably, and you guys have dreamt about it, but it was something vague out there that somebody had, and maybe somebody was going to explain to you one day. But today, Giovanna is going to break it down to the T, to where you know exactly what you need to become a homeowner with the rent-to-own program.
Hi, guys. Thanks for joining us this afternoon to find out what is rent to own. Rent to own simply is another path to homeownership other than the traditional way, which is walking into a bank and getting your mortgage loan, right? This is for all the aspiring homeowners who do not fit the traditional way. So we're thinking outside the box.
Exactly. Awesome. Giovanna, what do you need? What's like most important component that you need to be able to rent to own?
Absolutely. Great question. One of the things that I'm asked always, what does my credit score need to look like to be able to be part of your rent-to-own program? We're more flexible with the credit score because you are not bringing the credit score. So we are actually, as investors, bringing the credit score. So we are more flexible. Obviously, you are going to be working towards fixing that credit score so that eventually you can obtain your own mortgage loan.
So you do have to have the desire to become a homeowner. Basically, that's what I get. You have to have the desire to become a homeowner and have a fixable credit score, right?
Absolutely. So if you're being challenged with credit score issues, we will allow you the time to repair that credit, to work on that credit, as long as it is workable, as long as it is fixable, right? Sometimes that credit score, or let's say a charge that you had, needs seasoning. So while you're in the house, renting the property, while fixing your credit, time is going by, time is passing by, and it allows you the time to be able to repair that credit. So as long as it's fixable, we can work with that.
All right. What kind of income do they have to prove, and what's the proof of income?
Well, the proof of income obviously is that you actually have a stable job, right? If you don't have a job, you can't make a monthly payment. So if you can't make a monthly payment, there's no win-win for anyone here. So you have to have a steady job to afford a monthly payment.
Do you need a social security, or can you use an ITIN?
Absolutely. So great question. We work with ITIN folks. We know that there's a lot of people out there who are working to get in their immigration documentation squared away. And sometimes they need a little bit of time to get those papers filed, et cetera, et cetera. So we can work with that. Absolutely. Yep.
All right. The reason I wanted to bring Giovanna here to break this down, guys, it's very important that you get in on the market now. Everybody asks me, when is the best time to buy, Raul? And I say, you know what? As soon as possible. I tell them, hey, when's the best time to plant a tree? And they stumble on it a little bit. But, eventually I'm like, hey, you know what? 20 years ago would have been the best time. And the next time is right now. So as soon as you can, somehow or another, become an owner. So if this is the solution, guys, have an income. Have a fixable credit score. And what type of homes can they buy?
They're actually turnkey homes. They're homes right off the MLS. We don't carry an inventory of properties where I can tell Raul, you can take your client to these 10 houses that we have throughout the valley and let them pick one. These are homes that you yourself pick with your realtor.
All right.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Okay, so any type of home that's on the MLS in a livable situation, and then what is needed as far as upfront costs?
Sure. So one of the things that we have to do to assure that you're actually a fit for our program, we do a pre-vetting, just like a traditional pre-vetting. There will be documentation that you will have to submit. You will be working hand-in-hand with Raul doing that. Then after we receive that documentation, we can go ahead and determine the amount that you can actually qualify for. We will never put someone in $1 million house when they can only afford a $400,000 house. So we have to be able to determine what it is that you can afford. So you need stable job. Have you filed taxes in the 2 previous years? And then you need to come in with a down payment. Now, a buyer has to come in with skin in the game. So a buyer brings either a credit score or a high down payment while they work repairing their credit so that they themselves can get their own.
So what is that down payment, Giovanna?
The down payment, I am going to say this is a general number. Obviously, every situation is unique, so it depends on the risk factor. So we have folks who are high risk and we have folks who are low risk. Who's a low risk? And these are the perfect avatar for our program. A low risk client wanting to enter into our rent-to-own program is someone who had a black swan event happen in their life. For example, COVID happened. So let's say this is a husband and wife wanting to enter into our rent-to-own program. But during COVID, they lost their job or they lost hours of work, whatever the situation was. Their credit took a hit. And it was something that happened during COVID. But prior to that, they were on time making their payments and they were, following through with what they needed to do. So that particular example is a low risk person, right? Now we have high risk folks. We don't like to work with those people. We like to help people who are actually very serious and very determined to resolve whatever is preventing them today from securing traditional financing. So a low risk client is a great fit. Now, as a minimum, depending on the risk factor, you have to come in with 10% of the down payment and 2.5% of an acquisition fee.
Okay, so 12.5% of the total of the house that you qualify for.
Absolutely. 12.5% of the purchase price of the house that you qualify for.
All right. So we know what the credit requirement is, and there's no credit requirement as long as it's a fixable situation.
Absolutely.
And your income has to come in and be stable, come in somehow, make money. And any type of home, 12.5%. And what happens with that 12.5%? Like, let's say a year down the road, they're ready to buy this house back from you. What happens with their money?
So of the 12.5%, and like I said, this is just a generalized number. It could actually be a little higher for other folks. So let's just go with the 12.5%. 2.5% is a non-refundable acquisition fee. That covers your inspection, appraisal, and closing costs. 10% minimum is the down payment. It gets credited towards the purchase price.
Okay, so that means a home that they buy for $400,000, they're gonna give those 10% is gonna come off of the total. So now they only owe $360 on the house.
Right.
And now that's a good point because at that point you guys establish a buyback price, right, for the future.
Correct. So what we do is once we determine what the client qualifies for, we set the price. Right? We set the price of the house and we say to that client, before we make that offer, we're getting ready to make that offer. Are you sure that this is the house that you want? Because this is the price and this is what the monthly payment would be.
Okay. So the idea of this program, the beauty of it is that you buy now with today's market price. If you wait 2-3 years on a regular rental situation, let's say you qualify for a 400, right? In the future, that house is going to be 450, 475. You don't want to have to buy that house for 450, 475. You want to capture it closer to the 400.
Right. You're going to keep chasing that price if you don't act soon. If you have the ability to get into a home now, do it. Why? Because I've been talking to a lot of people, Raul, and they're like, oh, I just want to wait. I want to wait. You can wait all you want. But this is what our guess is. Now, no one can predict the future, right? There's no magic crystal ball that we can all tell the future. But historically, what we can actually predict is that if the interest rates drop or continue to drop, there are going to be folks out there, like investors, waiting to buy property in bulk. And so what that's going to do is going to create a bidding war because they have deeper pockets than the average buyer. So if you're waiting for the price to drop, you're going to be waiting a long time. I think people need to start understanding that this is going to be the new norm. We're going to be in this market shifting back and forth probably for the next couple of years. So if you want to wait years to see if it's the right time for you, you can certainly do that. But for those of you who are ready to go, we are here. So let us know. Reach out to Raul. This is a very simple concept. There's just a couple of requirements. And we only want to work with people who are actually serious in becoming a homeowner. We do understand that there are those folks who their lifestyle does not allow them to actually be a homeowner. Not because they don't want to, but because maybe they travel a lot or they just don't have the time for the responsibility of the upkeep and maintenance of a home, of a backyard, of a pool, front, who knows? And those folks they're okay with being tenants. But those who want to be homeowner, this is the opportunity.
Let's go, guys. Give us a call. We're here to help. Giovanna and I work as a team and make it happen for you. Any situation basically gets captured under this program. If you've ever heard of the private lenders out there, the hard money loans, they all ask for 25, 30%, 20% of the home that you're trying to purchase. This program's 12.5%. With 12.5%, you get your foot in the door. You actually acquire a home at today's market price and start working on your situation to actually become the actual owner of the home.
Absolutely. Keep in mind that this is strictly owner occupied. So we're not talking about for an investment property. Okay. So if we're talking or anyone is interested in an investment loan or an investment property or a hard money loan, that's a totally different type of conversation for a totally different program. This is owner occupied single family home. Absolutely. Raul is the person to go to. If you have any questions, please go ahead and feel free to reach out to him. He has a team behind him. I am his right-hand partner, so we can answer any questions that you have. So don't keep your questions in your head and wonder around whether you could be a fit or not. Feel free to reach out and ask the question.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Have a great one.
Absolutely.